Hello, and welcome to the show that rocks non-EDH combos in EDH. Today we're talking about a card that looks completely unplayable in Commander. But before we begin, remember to like, sub, comment, and ring YouTube's bell. So as you can tell from the title of the video, today's card is Verdant Succession. A green enchantment for 1 green and 4 that says whenever a green non-token creature dies, that creature's controller may search their library for a card with the same name as that creature and put it onto the battlefield. If that player does, they shuffle their library. So if you had multiple of one card in a deck, this is pretty good. Your Tarmogoyf dies and you get to tutor up another Goyf and put it onto the battlefield. Granted, your opponent gets to do this as well, but it's still a pretty good effect. But in EDH you can only have one of each card, so this is useless, right? Well, I wouldn't be making a video if it was, so let's look at the easiest ways to trigger this card in EDH. First off, Worldspine Wurm, Vigor, God Eternal Ronus, Arashan Sovereign, and Nissa's Chosen all return to the library upon death. So you can stack the triggers in a way so that these creatures' death trigger occurs first, returning them to the library, and then Verdant Succession triggers, returning them to the battlefield. Now if you throw a sack effect in there, you get unlimited death triggers and enter the battlefield triggers. Which means you can get unlimited 5/5 worms or Worldspine Wurm, continually double all your creatures' powers with Ronus, make unlimited mana if your sack outlet is Ashnod's Altar, mill out your opponents with Alter the Brute or Alter of Dementia. Really, just go watch any of my past combo breakdowns to see all the gross things you can do with unlimited sacking and enter the battlefield effects. But the thing with this is you can do all of that in a mono green deck, which is pretty impressive. This next combo with Verdant Succession allows you to grab any non-legendary creature in your deck. It doesn't even have to be a green creature. Spy Kit is an equipment that gives the equipped creature +1/+1 in the name of every non-legendary creature in Magic the Gathering. Have it die and Verdant Succession triggers, letting you search for, well, any creature as long as it's non-legendary. It's a pretty powerful effect. Next up, any card that lets you return a card from your graveyard to your library at instant speed can work well with Verdant Succession. Once a creature dies, and the Verdant Succession trigger is on the stack, you can respond to it by putting that creature back into your deck. Cards like Hiwatwa, Junk Trawler, and Canal Dredger let you do it once by tapping them, but Rito Lantern and Saldevi Digger let you do it repeatedly if you have the mana to do so. In fact, Saldevi Digger and Ashnod's Altar let you continually recur the same green creature, as long as it is always the top card on your graveyard. Boa Nylea is similar to these other cards, but is better in the instance of a board wipe. For 1 and a green and tapping it, you can put 4 cards from your graveyard onto the bottom of your library, essentially letting you save 4 of your green creatures on the battlefield. But the jankiest combo with Verdant Succession can happen in an elf tribal deck with Elvish Soul Tiller. Soul Tiller reads that when it dies, you choose a creature type and shuffle all creatures of that type in your graveyard back into your library. So if you have a bunch of elves, including the Soul Tiller, and they die from sacking or board wipes or whatever, when they hit your graveyard, you can name elves with the Soul Tiller ability, and then shuffle all of your elves, including the Soul Tiller, back into your library. And then you tutor for all of those cards and put them back onto the battlefield. That is disgusting. Finally, there are some off-color cards that work well with Verdant Succession, such as Cauldron of Eternity from Throne of Eldraine. The Cauldron says whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of your library, and then you can tutor it with Verdant Succession. But in honesty, Verdant Succession really decreases in power with the more colors you play. So you can try to work in other colors with this card, but is really best in mono green builds. And that is all I got for Verdant Succession. Are you going to try to do any of these combos? Let me know down below. And actually, this card is very cheap, so it's jank in every sense of the word. So, if you like this, or any other shit I do on this channel, remember to like and sub. And when you need your next combo, you can find me right here on the internet.